Hi there folks, welcome to RRTV's live coverage of the RRTV ANZCAR Thursday Night Thunder Series coming to you tonight from Road Atlanta. And your commentary team tonight is myself, Bernie Weemers, and Alex McKellar. Mate, we're in our element.
G'day Bertie, g'day everyone at home. In our element, there's certain irony to that, I'm sure. You and I are generally road guys, but I don't know about you, mate, but I did some prep work during the week, hopped on the oval and turned a few laps in the week 13 action. I've done a bit before, but certainly not in this sort of setting. The trucks are a bit of fun, I've got to say, so really looking forward to what should be a fantastic race.
Oh, it's going to be an awesome race, and they're out there qualifying at the moment, so we'll have a look at that very shortly, folks. But before we do, a bit about tonight's race and what you're going to see. Well, it's 65 laps around here, and we're here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Time limit is 2 hours 20. Hopefully we're not going to be here in 2 hours 20, that's for sure. They will have safety cars out here tonight, folks. As far as fast repairs go, they have one, and incident limits, they've got none. So it's going to be some good old stock car action here tonight on RRTV.
Yeah, absolutely, Bertie. What do they say? Rubbin's racing. And so a lot more, I guess, push, bumping to drafting they call it, don't they? Sorry. I know we frown upon it in the road racing, particularly in the open wheelers, but out here tonight I expect to see a bit of it. Had a bit of experience of it during the week. It's a bit of fun, bit of a unique challenge. And one thing we find here in these cars is there's a different type of skill set here to what I'm used to, certainly, and that's the ability to race lap after lap, side by side, in really, really tight quarters with cars. There's not a lot of challenge when it comes to the cornering here, but the skill is all being able to race with people and develop your strategy over a long period of time, Bernie. So it should be fascinating to watch it all unfold.
Yeah, it certainly will be very fascinating to see it all unfold, and I must admit this is the first NASCAR race I've ever commentated on, so let's see how expert we are tonight. Of course, next week, folks, we're going to have Ryan Shelton joining me, and he is the NASCAR expert all the way from South Carolina, America, US of A, so it's going to be awesome having him on board, but he can only join us once a fortnight, so on the other off weeks we'll have myself, possibly Alex, possibly Wee Han Chan. Who knows? It's just a lottery.
Well, it sounds like good fun either way, mate. But it'd be nice to have some expert backing at times as well, because certainly want to bring a great or be able to call the great show that the guys put on, and certainly describe it well to the viewers. And I'm sure that'll build up over time, Bernie.
Yeah, it certainly will. And one thing about ANZCAR, folks, and you may not heard about it, but these boys, they're pretty serious about their NASCAR. They've got big goals ahead of them that they want to achieve, and if you like your NASCAR racing, it doesn't only have to be the trucks. If you like your Xfinity and your whatever you call them, the big NASCAR, there you go, that's how expert I am, join the league, because they're going to be looking at doing all sorts of categories down the track. Also like to welcome the series sponsor to tonight, and that's West End Mazda, and they sponsor the replay, so you'll be seeing the West End Mazda replays tonight, and it's great to have them on board as well.
Yeah, great to get that sort of support behind a community like this, Bernie, and that's what racing's all about. The e-sport that we love is all about building communities, and that's what we're seeing here tonight. It's not one that you and I venture into terribly often, but I'm certainly pleased to see that it's well supported. What have we got, about 25 cars on track tonight that I can see, and for night one, that's a great turnout. I'm sure the racing will reflect that as well.
Yeah, I'm sure it will do that. I'm really looking forward to this, because I have seen some of the races these boys have put on, and there's, don't get me wrong, a lot of people say, they turn left, but they have to drive side by side in traffic, and it's a very intense form of racing, as we can see now. Jake Blackhall just rubbing the wall there, he locks it up, and he's going to abort his qualifying there. They only get 3 laps of qualifying. It's lone qualifying here, Alex, so although we can see all the cars, they're out there by themselves. That's going to stop them drafting, and it's also going to stop them being balked by other drivers.
Yeah, 100%. There's a lot of advantage in the draft around here, of course, in these cars, and that tight racing that you were speaking about, and I mentioned it earlier as well. There's a real skill to it, Bernie. Racing in tight like that, you're in close quarters, very intense, as you say, very close quarters, and that's where the whole spotter comes into play as well. We hear it in the road section of iRacing, of course, but it has its origins or its genesis in the oval races where they use them in real life as well, of course. And so listening to that, taking that into account, and building your strategy over the whole race, that's a skill set in of itself.
Yeah, it certainly is. And one thing that's going to work really well here tonight, of course, is the gyro cam. And you can just experience the banking. This is what the gyro cam was invented for. And we're riding with Roger Clark now to demonstrate that. We also have tonight our roof cam fitted to all the NASCARs. So we'll also be bringing you the action there as well.
A fantastic vision there for the viewers at home, Bernie. It's great. I can even see some names out there that I'm familiar from the road circuits as well, Bernie. So a good mix of local drivers there to be sure. It's all local talent, which is interesting to see. So a great community of drivers here looking to put on a good display.
It certainly is, and at the moment we're having a look. Roger's out there. He's in 14th position at the moment. Let's bring up his qualifying lap, and we'll see what he's doing. He's bailing now, so 29.898 for Roger Clark here, and where does that make him? 14th. He has not improved at the moment. Jason Martin sitting on provisional pole with a 29.989 seconds. Daniel is in second. I bet you can't pronounce that name there, Alex.
Yeah, no, I can't. Daniel is in second. You're right, with Jake Maloney rounding out your top three.
Yeah, that's right. Darren Bond in fourth. Jake Blackhall, great to see him out there. Familiar name in fifth. Matthew Raymond sixth. James Foster seventh. Jared Farrell is in eighth at the moment. Edward Foster is sitting in ninth, and he's sporting the RTV livery for the season, so it's great to have his support. And of course, Jeff Rayleigh, he rounds out our top 10. We've also got Dylan Shepherd out here tonight, and I'm just seeing where he's qualified. He's down in 24th at the moment, and maybe a little bit out of his element. What do you reckon?
Yeah, potentially. He's one of the guys I know from the road scene. Jeff Rayleigh as well, I've seen him there. I'm sure I've raced with Edward Foster and Jake Maloney as well. So a few names out there, like I said, that I recognise. But I tell you what, it's a tight spread. I mean, the racing I did during the week and looking at the qualifying, excuse me, the times split by about 1/10 of a second. Doesn't sound like much in road terms, but in oval terms, it's quite a bit. So they are still quite tightly packed. Only 2.5 tenths separating the top 15 cars, Bernie. So certainly a very competitive night shaping up.
It certainly will be a very competitive night, that's for sure. And of course, folks, we're going to have a little bit of an interesting show tonight with safety cars when they come out. We expect they're going to be out for up to 5 laps, maybe 7. So at that time, of course, we'll have a look at the replay, make yourself a cup of coffee, grab a beer, whatever you fancy. But don't miss out on what we're going to talk about, because Alex doesn't know, and I'm going to drop it on him right now. And that's basically, we're going to discuss the latest updates to iRacing and have a bit of opinion on that. Also, of course, we hope to cross to some drivers under yellow if they're game to have us in the car. And down the track, as we get used to this, we'll also try to get some video in future rounds on the intricacies of these cars, which could be quite interesting, I think.
Very educational at the same time, Bernie. I can see a couple of guys in the green room, so hopefully if we do happen to get some cautions, they'll pop up and say good day, including our mate Daniel, who might even educate us on the correct pronunciation of his name. What do you reckon? Yeah,
I can pronounce it. It's Daniel.
It is Daniel. I was thinking more his surname, but yeah, I'll go along with Daniel.
Yeah, so if you're wondering what's going on at the moment, if you've just joined us, they've finished qualifying. We're just waiting for the timer to run out. They actually have 15 minutes to qualify their 3 laps. What we have seen, though, is most of them have gone out there, and we can see now Dylan Shepherd, he's coming out to do his run, so he has not qualified as yet. So we can keep an eye on this and see how Dylan goes.
Yeah, Dylan out there doing a late qualifying run, as you say, not yet set a time. So, well, perhaps our call was a bit early on him being out of his element. It'll be interesting to see how he shapes up. Of course, with the dynamic track in iRacing, the track temperature warms up the more cars that go around it. So perhaps he's trying to take advantage of that with a bit of extra heat for his tyres, Bernie.
Yeah, he could be, and we'll have a look when he starts his lap. We've got the qualifying lap. He's looking at 29.989, and it's going to go pretty quick already, 9-10 seconds here as he comes up onto the back straight here into turn 3. Very shortly turn 4, and we'll see how he goes. And but I tell you what, 29.989 down to 30.146 in 10th. There is absolutely nothing in these times.
No, when you consider they're running around at just a whisker under 300 k's an hour, Bernie, it's quite an exciting ride. A short lap around. Dylan now with his first time lap jumping up to P15, so they will increase their speed over their 3 laps, Bernie, so I expect him to improve more even still.
Definitely, and we'll see how he goes. He's sitting in 15th at the moment. Let's see if he can improve on his second lap, and that will pretty much do it. He's backing it up. He's thinking about the wall. No, he's had to lift there. I think he had a little bit of push going on.
Yeah, a little bit. He looks like he mistimed that entry, and it ruined the rest of his laps. So perhaps I was a bit premature in saying he was jumping up the order. But interesting to see Jake Blackhall, who's currently sitting in P5 as we approach the last minute of qualifying. Bernie doesn't reckon he can qualify in these fine machines, Bernie, but I think P5 in this sort of field's doing pretty well. Yeah,
well, I think so. We've got the top NASCAR boys here from Australia and New Zealand, and Roger, that's Roger Clark. He is from New Zealand. He's one of the guys behind this series, and he's so passionate about his NASCAR racing. It's just fantastic to see. And yeah, it's going to be a late night for him over there in New Zealand. What are they, 2 hours in front of us?
Yeah, 2 at the moment. When we hit daylight savings, it'll be 3. So, it's great to see that sort of passion, though, in our fine e-sport of iRacing here, Bernie, whether it be the ovals or the roads. It's always wonderful to see, and what you can build based on that. Certainly, in my experience with contributing to the community, you get back tenfold what you contribute. So, hopefully, that's similar over here, and judging by tonight's turnout, it looks though it is, Bernie.
Yeah, it definitely does, and we'll see how we go now, folks. Come and join us in the chat channel here on YouTube. I want to hear from you guys, especially the ones that love their NASCAR. Tell us what you want to see in these broadcasts, and we'll do our very best to make it happen. But the boys are going to line up now, so let's go through the grid, and you can see where your favourite driver is going to start from tonight. So, Jason Martin, he has pole position, 29.989 seconds, followed by Daniel in second. Starting out of third tonight, Jake Maloney. Out of fourth, we have Darren Bond, and then Jake Blackhall, he'll start out of fifth with Matthew Raymond starting beside him in sixth. Out of seventh tonight, James Foster. Then we have Jared Farrell in eighth, followed by Edward Foster in ninth, and he'll be joined with Jeff Rayleigh beside him. Norman Clark, he starts out of 11th, followed by Dave Douglas in 12th. Out of 13th tonight is Darren McKenzie. Darren O'Brien, he's going to start out of 14th, with Dylan Shepherd out of 15th. Roger Clark, we'll keep an eye on him, starting out of 16th position. I thought that was Craig Lowndes for a minute, but it's Craig Lawless starting out as 17th. Wayne Harrison Watt, he will start out of 18th. Out of 19th tonight is Darren Lord, followed by Phil Otto. Out of 21st, Nick Craddock. Then we have Daniel Stevens out of 22nd, with Steve Hoppett starting in 23rd. Out of 24th tonight, Rodney Morris. And rounding out your field of 25 is Jason Reese.
Wow, I'd say a full grid, but I suppose it's a pretty long grid you could have here, Bernie. A lot of cars out there tonight looking to put their best foot forward in the first race of the season, Bernie, and again, I'm expecting a fantastic display from our local drivers.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited about it, and we'll see how they go. Hopefully we're going to get some good laps in before we see any safety cars. I know the organisers here have a rookie series, similar to what V8 Scops does and OSR. They have their development series, and this is the top series of the guys that have been doing this for a while.
Yeah, excellent. It's great to have that sort of feeder system there, so the guys racing in this level of field and competition can have confidence in the guys around them, that they've developed the basic skills and mechanics of the cars and know how to race, Bernie.
Yeah, well, that's exactly it, and that's what they're all about. Now, safety car is in, folks. Jason Martin, he has control of this field. When's he going to go? Right now, and we're underway. One of 65 laps here at Atlanta Motor Raceway. I keep on thinking Road Atlanta, but a great start here at the moment with Jason Martin, and he's been chased down by Jake Maloney, and then we got Daniel sitting in third position. In fourth is Darren Bond. You can just see him now working side by side, too wide here. We've got Darren on the inside, Matthew Raymond, he is on the outside, but well, that was Matthew, that was on the inside.
Yeah, absolutely, Bernie. The car's starting to spread out a bit more than I was expecting. 3 wide. Jeff Rayleigh on the inside, going 3 wide as they head around into turn 1 and 2. Bernie, they're already getting into the thick of the action. Interesting to see Roger clear out in front. He was the only one of the 29s in qualifying, Bernie, and looking to make every post a winner.
It certainly is, and we're seeing Edward Foster here in the RRTV Tundra. And he's making his way up. He's in 8th at the moment. I threw the keys at him through the weekend and said, it's all yours, but don't scratch it. But what can possibly go wrong? It's NASCAR. I don't think they scratch these boys up too much.
No, they give them a good nudge when they need to, Bernie, but that's usually to push the bloke in front of them up the straight to get a better run into the next corner. So plenty of action to see. So to look forward to, at least, Bernie, as we continue through this race.
Yeah, definitely. Lap 3, it's going to go quick around here, but Jason Martin, he is going quick. He's leading the way. He's got 0.3 of a second over Jake Maloney. And I'll tell you what, Jake's no shy man, is he? He can race just about anything. We've seen him in the V8s. Now we're seeing him out here in the NASCAR trucks. Jake Blackhall, he's coming under a little pressure from Daniel now, and he's right on his bumper.
Well, a little bit of contact between James Foster and Jared Farrell there as they went through the, I beg your pardon, and Jeff Rayleigh. James Foster dropping back now. He got a little bit of nudge on the inside, running too wide. He's lost a handful of positions now, as we see, is that Dylan Shepherd on his inside now, trying to take advantage of the draft in front as well, Bernie. A little bit show, just goes to show, a little bit of a touch like that can really cost you a lot. I reckon he lost about 4 or 5 positions there, Bernie.
Yeah, they're getting pretty excited back here, wasn't it? And we can see now James Foster having a look on the inside of Dave Douglas. Dylan Shepherd, he's dropped off a bit further back though. We've got Norman Clark and Roger. So Roger Clark on the outside, he's got that big shark tooth livery on the front, just like he wants to take a big bite out of the back of Norman's car.
Yeah, there's some good paints out there on display, Bertie. Roger now right on the back of Norman Clark there. Looks to take the make most. Oh, we've got someone up in front. Oh, it was one car around, Bertie, in front. We got turned in the corner there at turn 3 to 4 there, Bertie. It's a bit of an incident as we see our first safety car out, a yellow flag, I should say, on lap 7.
Yeah, so Daniel Stevens was involved in that, the number 66. We can also see, I think it's not Dave Douglas. Who was it? Daniel Stevens, Jeff Rayleigh, into the wall hard. We saw him up the top, didn't we? We thought he was going to get away with that, but of course he didn't. So let's go back to the West End Mazda replay and see if we can unravel this.
Yeah, Bernie, looks to me like they're both on the approach into turn 3 there, I think it was, Bernie. They both sort of must have held the higher line and not really, I beg your pardon, not really, they've just rubbed the wall on entry into turn 3, Bernie. Not really made the turn, perhaps carrying a bit too much speed on that too high line or misjudging the entry. It was Dave who first sort of spewed down onto the inside, followed by it was then Jeff, who was actually in front of him at the time, and the already losing car come up in front of him, and he's ended up driving along the wall, Bernie, on his side, and put a nice couple of dents and scratches along the side of his car there, Bernie.
Yeah, and the one did get into the, I think that was Daniel Stevens, a 66, so he got involved trying to avoid them, and that was Daniel Stevens with quite a bit of damage to his car as well. But yes, well spotted there. Jeff Rayleigh up on the rails and showing us how it's done, so to speak.
Yeah, Phil Otto, car number 20, also on the way through, has collected a nose-to-tail spinner in Dave Douglas as he's made his way down the track. Looks like he's copped a fair knock on the front there, Bernie. Not sure if that'll damage his car too much. Seems pretty clean, but then, as you say, car number 66 behind him, and Daniel Stevens has copped a fair nudge there. And he's trying to get his way back, I'm sure, but you probably have to make use of that fast strip there, I'd imagine.
Yeah, we're riding with Jeff Rayleigh here, just getting a bit of an idea what's going on, and I tell you what, absolutely nowhere to go there, and straight up onto the wall. Can see there the 66 also having a spin in the grass, and yeah, it's pretty action-packed, this stuff, isn't it?
It sure is. I was just thinking to myself, I'd commented how clean the racing would be early on, and certainly this was no incident between cars so much as just mistakes by individuals on the approach to corners, Bernie. These cars, as I said, they're going to tick under 300 k's an hour on the straights there, and so managing these corners, they might look simple, but it's still a job, particularly if the tyres or your tyre pressures might be too hot, or your tyres might be wearing still early in the race. But yeah, mistake nonetheless. It's been costly for those two and a few others along the way.
Yeah, and most of the guys, they've come in, and of course in NASCAR they basically do one side of tyres and then throw the jack on the other one, jack that up and do the other side. So it's good old school here. But looking at your top 10 at the moment, Norman Clark, he's going to have control of this field when they start. Roger Clark will start beside him in that shark tooth entry. I think it's actually an Air Force livery. Steve Hoppett, keep an eye on him, starting out of third with Jason Martin next to him. Jason had control of this race up until that incident. Jake Maloney starting in fifth, Jake Blackall sixth, Matthew Raymond, then Daniel in eighth, Darren Bond, and rounding out your top 10 will be Edward Foster.
Yeah, well, the guys at the front now as they get underway, they're the only three not to have stopped at this stage, Bernie, with our previous race leader Jason Martin, as you say, now moving his way up into third, just going past Steve Hoppett there, pushing him back into fourth, looking to take control once again after pitting, Bernie.
Yeah, we can see at the moment the action is aplenty already. The 81 trying to get a name on that, but he was looking like he was going to get mobbed here. Already they're starting into the nose to tail and getting that slipstream working.
Yeah, well, that's Steve Hoppett that we were talking about. He's now being pushed down to sixth as he's running the outside groove here, having cars going on the inside of him here up the front straight, Bernie now. And Norman, he's touched the wall, Bernie. He's hung on. He's been hit by the car behind him. There's action aplenty now, Bernie. There's a head through turn two, had a multiple car pile up there, all sort of started by Steve Hoppett as he got messy on the outside wall. But Bernie, as a multitude of cars look to go past him after a slow restart.
Yeah, we're going to have a look at the West End Mazda replay here and see how it started. I know one car that was involved, and that's the Edward Foster in the RRTV livery. Told him not to scratch it. Well, that went out the window.
It sure did. Steve Hoppett letting a number of cars go through on the inside there, on the exit, the approach to turn one. He's just run really, really wide, misjudged the entry there, and collected the wall on the entry there. He's bounced off. A couple of guys running next to him managed to miss him, but Edward Foster in the RRTV livery has been caught out running. He had basically nowhere to go. He couldn't go down because there was a car on his inside in Darren Bond, and then he's run straight into the rear of Steve Hoppett there. Steve's then spewed up, but Edward seemed to have got away with it okay, but it's all sort of checked up around, and it's all got messy from there. Bernie, Jared Farrell, Dylan Shepherd and Darren Bond have all been caught out by the checked up traffic and spewed all over the track. Oh, a lot of action there, Bernie. Yeah,
Dylan Shepherd was involved in that. We can see him spinning. The 77 also involved. That is Darren O'Brien, the 14. James Foster, another victim, and of course it looks like we've got, who's that up the top? The number 1 is also involved. That's Phil Otto. He was looking really strong before, wasn't he? But check out the RRTV Tundra. I tell you what, Edward, You've got some explaining to do, young man.
He might have to buy the guys at the workshop a couple of beers, I think, Bernie, after that. He got away with it early on, Bernie, but then the action just sort of started all around him, and he had nowhere to go. So an unfortunate mistake from Steve Hoppett there on the entry into turn one, and calamity has ensued, unfortunately, with a few guys forced to take their fast repairs if they hadn't already.
Yeah, so we're riding on board here with Edward Foster, and you'll just see up ahead here, Steve Hoppett will check up. He actually goes up into the wall, doesn't he? And that's up on the back straight. No, it's just on the front straight, and Edward he checked up a bit, but then, as we can see, they all just got into each other, and as you said, craziness ensued.
Yeah, unfortunately, they don't build these things to stop quickly, right? Because they don't have to brake for the corners like the road cars do. But it just means that when the traffic checks up, it checks up quite dramatic fashions on some occasions there, Bernie. A few guys caught out there, and like I said, no doubt many reaching for their fast repairs.
Yeah, and they only get one fast repair, so a lot of these boys now, we're lap 14 of 65. They chew through their fast repairs, I tell you. No incident limit though, but that doesn't help you when the team has to start banging out panels for the next, X amount of minutes or whatever it is.
No, that's exactly right. Once that's gone, you're in the pits for a long time potentially, and your competitive night comes to a rapid close. So the guys now heading out towards the back straight. Interesting. We seem to manage about 5 to 7 lap stints so far. It'll be interesting to see if we can get any more underway as the cars line up to get underway hopefully soon. Then.
Yeah, well, they'll be going very shortly. Your top 10, we've got Norman Clark, he's going to start again, and Roger Clark. I wonder if they're relatives in the first row. Second row, we'll have Jason Martin, Jake Maloney on the outside. Third row is Jake Blackhall with Daniel on the outside. Then in the fourth row is Matthew Raymond in the 83, and he'll have Steve Hoppett starting in the 81. Steve's out of position here, and we're racing.
We're underway, yeah. The lights are off on the safety car, and we're underway again. The cream trying to rise to the top, as they say, Bernie. Daniel, who we spoke about, started P2. He's down 3 spots in P5 at the moment. Of course, there's plenty to play for and plenty of action still to come as they head around now on lap 15 of 65, Bernie.
Yeah, and we're riding on the roof cam with Roger, and you can see right behind him, that's Jake Maloney on the inside, 2 wheels up on the apron there, and tell you what, he's going to make it work.
Yeah, he is. These guys are trying to get it done up front, see if they can't get a break at some stage. They're still going too wide. Yeah, it's funny, it's just such an interesting comparison. I'm used to running too wide every now and then, but not for lap after lap, so these guys seem to make it work and do it pretty well there.
Yeah, well, this sort of racing takes a hell of a lot of concentration. Just like, road racing, they say that takes a lot of concentration, but this is like racing in peak hour. And what sort of speed are they doing? Probably well over 200 and something kilometres an hour. Let's bring up the telemetry. And we're under caution once again. So that's not going to help us.
No, I'm not sure what happened there, Bernie, although I've just picked up Steve Hoppett again. I'm not sure if he's had a moment. Oh, yeah, there's a moment around Steve again. He's collected the outside wall on the approach to turn 1 again, I think, or it might be turn 3. Yeah, turn 3. And he's just collected the outside wall again, Bernie, and then come down, and unfortunately, someone's been caught out as well. Nick Craddock has been caught out as well. He's trying to avoid. I think he's gone to take the outside line and got squeezed up onto the wall and then been turned by Steve Hoppett, the 129 car. So that's brought out our third caution of the evening, Bernie. Yeah,
they went 3 wide there. The 71 went on the inside, and Steve and the number 15 got nice and personal there. We're just having a look at this replay. We've jumped 60 seconds behind to try to work it out. Yeah, he just went straight in the wall. The car just did not turn, and then the 129 up there, very lazy spin, and I'll tell you what, Steve gave him a bit of a push along there. That was Nick Craddock, as you said.
Yeah, just wanted to extra flat spot the tyres. I don't know if Steve's already taken his fast repair or not. He still looked to be carrying some damage, so I'm not sure how he's placed for fast repairs, Bernie. We know he didn't pit the first safety car that came out, so if he didn't the second time, I assume he will this time because he's carrying a fair bit of body damage. And from my own experience during the weekend racing these things, the slightest touch, or what felt like me to be the slightest touch, put the aero out, and really you're down so much then on speed that you really become uncompetitive. So I'm sure Steve, if given the chance, and he does have a fast repair in hand, he'll duck in and grab it, Bertie.
Yeah, definitely, and I don't know if he's going to be able to do anything about that push in this car. I have a feeling this may be a fixed series, but I'll definitely confirm that for you folks for the next round, that's for sure. But I tell you what, the way Steve's car's pushing, it's probably not so much a car, but more like a plough at the moment.
Well, he's just come out of the pits, Bertie. I can confirm his car's been repaired. So he's had his one and only fast repair, and hopefully that's all he'll need as he returns to join this field now. As we're starting out on lap 19, Bernie, almost a third of the way through the race, and plenty of action so far.
Yeah, there certainly is, and Jason Martin has moved up to the outside of row 1. Jake Maloney there, he's still in third, with Roger Clark relegated back to fourth. So Jason is on the move. He was our pole sitter, so he knows he's got the pace. The only guy in the 29s, but saying that, what was it, 0.3 of a second separated first to 10th.
Yeah, I think it was just over 2.5 to all the way down to 15 from memory, Bernie. So not a lot in it. No one in the 29s as yet, but they'll be running, I assume they're running higher fuel now, Bernie, so that would suggest that perhaps it's not a fixed series because they would have dropped fuel for the qualifying and grabbed those extra tenths. But at the moment, even with draft, no one ducked into the 29s that I can see for their best laps, Bernie, but perhaps their best laps are ahead of them still.
Yeah, well, if they can get the momentum going. We had a good start, didn't we? We did a number of laps before we got the yellow, but then all of a sudden the safety car started breeding. Well, I think, yeah, I guess that's what it does. Safety cars breed safety cars, is that right? Yeah.
Well, it could do. Yeah, you never know. I have heard that before, certainly in the V8 supercars on the TV coverage. But tonight, unfortunately, we've had a few already. I'm hoping the boys will settle down now because those fast repairs will become a bit thinner on the ground, and perhaps they'll be less inclined to take risks on their way. At least with 2/3 of the race still to go, Bernie.
Yeah, definitely. And one thing I've learnt about this already, the action's in the mid-pack. So that's where we're going to be focusing. That's where all the actions come out, isn't it, at the moment? And, I'm a rookie at this, so just forgive me, folks.
Yeah, no, well, it has been. But can I say that from what I've noticed so far, it's been individuals making errors rather than, taking each other out. They've just made errors on the entry to corners and run wide sort of thing, collecting the wall, which is an ever-present danger, of course. Looks like the lights are out, Bernie. We might be underway this lap.
Yeah, we're definitely going soon. We're looking out the back of Norman Clark here. He's got Jake Maloney tucked right up here. Reason we're doing this is Norman, he's going to get the run of this field. We can see now safety cars in on the roof cam. See them all. He's going. Who's going with him here? The number 21. Jake Maloney's been caught napping a little bit, I think.
Oh, straight in.
Yeah, big crash.
Big crash there. And a couple of unsafe entries to the pits by the look at if they choose to do so now. But it looks like that's Rodney Morris has caught a hit from. I'm not sure what Daniel Stevens has done there, Bernie, to be honest. He's just turned left quite substantially earlier than he needed to do, and maybe he's had mechanical failure there. I don't know, Bernie, what do you reckon?
So that was, we'll jump back and have a look. And so Rodney Morris, was it?
Oh, hang on, I've lost it now. I'll have to find it, go back. It was, sorry, I beg your pardon, it was Wayne Harrison Watt. I beg your pardon. Sorry, Rodney, I miscalled that, mate. It was car 23, Wayne Harris Watt. Well, it says 15 on his roof. I'm not sure what's going on there. I was in position 23, I beg your pardon. Car 15, Wayne Harris Watt, who's just sort of turned left halfway down the front straight there, Bernie, and unfortunately he's taken out Rodney Morris for his trouble.
Yeah, and trying to get back to that, we had all sorts of problems with, I Oh yeah, we've got it here now. Yeah, it was pretty much just into it. Wasn't a bit of a lazy spin, but of course the safety car did not come out for that, as far as I'm aware.
Oh right, no safety car at all. Which in the meantime we've got Jason Martin out in front. I beg your pardon. Apologies for that, viewers. I got distracted by the incident and hadn't kept up with the pace. But yeah, Jason Martin out in front with Norman Clark and Jake Maloney sitting hot on his tail. Seems to be a front pack of about 5 at this stage, Bernie, with a little bit of a down to Daniel, with a little bit of gap down to Jeff Rayleigh, who's sitting only about half a second behind Bernie, but struggling to hang on at this stage.
Yeah, we can see now Jake Maloney making this work on the inside of Norman Clark. He takes that position and moves up into second, so Maloney on the move.
Absolutely, with Jake Blackwell sitting behind him there, trying to follow him through, Bernie, trying to leave Norman Cook out to hang out to dry now as I head through turn 2 on the exit out to the back straight there, Bernie. Jake's made that work with Norman Clark now looking to tuck him behind and hold Daniel out, but it's allowed Jeff Rayleigh to catch up, Bernie. He's now just down to less than 3/10 behind and be well and truly back on this pack. But they have dropped Roger Clark down in 7th position, Bernie, with Daniel Stevens sitting close on his tail.
Yeah, and we're riding with Daniel now, as we can see him taking a bit of the high line and just tucked up behind Norman. The boys, you can just hear him lifting a bit, and that's of course just getting the car to turn in a little bit, but already they're starting to lap. I think that is Rodney Morris that they're going around as he hits the wall.
Yeah, he just tried very hard to get out of the way there and kiss the wall. He's managed to keep it relatively straight, although he sounds like he's right out of it now. He's going to have a long wait to let this field go by. I might just ride with him a bit to see that no one gets interrupted or no incidents ensue, but he's just sticking to the high line of spot too soon, Bertie. He's been corrected.
Yeah, I could see a car in the background there spinning, and yes, we have mayhem ensuing once more. The 77, let's jump back. That was Darren O'Brien again, I think.
Darren Brand, yeah, he's got some help from the 65 there, Bernie. He's got some help from Jared Farrell there. They were heading up to take the line into turn 1, I think it was, Bernie, and then Jared Farrell's, Darren Brand has sort of gone to take the higher line, and he hasn't been cleared by. He hasn't cleared Jared Farrell, I should say, and he's just got in. Jared's sort of nudged the rear of his car as a result, and that spewed Darren Brien up into the slow running Rodney Morris there, Bernie, and again a safety car's ensued.
Yeah, I think what happened was the guys, he got punted big time, didn't he? I tell you what, when these guys want to crash, it's a party for everyone to get involved in.
Well, didn't he get hit then again by Darren Bond? It was.
Yeah.
The car 117s really hit him. Well, these cars are so deceptively quick, Bertie. Like I said, they're doing nearly 300 Ks down the straight, and then when something goes wrong, it's not like they've got a massive amount of aero and grip and stuff to really make their way through. And at that speed, you don't have a lot of time to react. And if you don't sort of get out of it quickly, it all comes unstuck very quickly at the same time.
Yeah, we're riding with Darren Bond now, and you'll see how much time this guy has to react, and you'll just see up ahead as they start the incidents just up ahead now, and you can just see him closing in, and he actually lifted, and he was looking for a way to get through, and no doubt the spotter was telling him to go low, which is exactly what he was doing.
Yeah, look, not a lot of time to react, getting out of it and trying to weave your way through. It's the way to go, obviously. But again, these guys these cars aren't designed for a lot of lateral movement. The front end doesn't point you in another direction very easily, right, to get around incidents. It's designed to go roughly in a straight line and very, very fast, Bernie. So avoiding stuff like that is very difficult to do, and a real shame for those involved tonight.
Yeah, it certainly is, and we're almost halfway distance here, and the action's been pretty intense, I must say.
Yeah, it's certainly been a lot of action, Bertie, and intense, as you say. Interesting to see with this latest safety car and round of pit stops, Darren McKenzie, Phil Otto, and Steve Hoppert, who's had an action-packed race so far, are up at the front again, Bernie. So I'm not sure. I think the lights are still on the safety car at this point. So they're still on. So we've still got another lap to go, Bernie.
Yeah, and of course all the guys have dived in. We've still got Rodney Morris in there now. He's the car that was up high. That he didn't start it, but the chain reaction behind. I think what happened was the cars up high dived low to clear him, and they got into another car, which of course spat him up into this poor fellow who was doing the right thing and just trying to stay out of trouble.
Yeah, I thought he did a really good job, actually. I mean, he scraped along the wall a bit when the leaders went by, but then he sat high and waited for the other guys to go through, and it was just a bit of a misstep by the guys going underneath him that, if anything, I thought he was an innocent bystander. It was just a misstep by the guys beside him, as I said, that they actually spewed up into him and caused this latest safety car. We're on lap 30, Bernie, nearly halfway through, so hopefully the second half of the race will see a lot more green flag racing.
Yeah, let's hope so, and big shout out to all the people joining us in our first NASCAR broadcast here on RRTV. Hopefully you're enjoying it, hopefully we're making it entertaining for you, and as I was saying, any feedback, definitely let us know if you want to see something in this that would make the broadcast better, and we'll definitely listen to you.
Well, safety car lights are out, Bernie, so we're going racing after this lap. Just the one lap remaining under caution now as the guys settle back down, going their 2x2, Bernie. We've got Darren McKenzie, Phil Otto, Steve Hoppert in the top three, with Jason Martin and Jake Blackwell rounding out the top five, Bernie, and then sitting there quite ominously, I should say, in 6th and 7th are Jake Maloney and Daniel, who number 13, Daniel, who really are some of the pace setters in this race, so it'll be interesting to see how they go under green, Bernie. Yeah,
the other one to probably keep an eye on would be Jeff Rayleigh here back in 9th. We'll see if he can make his way through. Dylan Shepherd, for anyone that is a fan of Dylan's, he's down there in 10th at the moment. I tell you what, he has had one action-packed night.
Sure has, Bernie. As the safety car looks to pull off right now, Bernie, we should see how they get away this time. They've been held on the line by Darren McKenzie. Guys checking up. A little bit of contact there, but they seem to have got away okay. Faster cars at the rear now, as Darren McKenzie held them, looking to get the optimal start now. 3 wide behind them. Daniel Stevens in the middle now in the mid-pack, Bernie. 3 wide, they go through turn 1 and 2 again, Bernie, on lap 32. Still 3 wide in a couple of places there, Bernie. They seem to have made it work. Do I hear a bit of paint swapping behind? No, they seem to have got away okay, Bernie. Still 2 and 3 wide as they head around for the second half of this lap.
Yeah, and that was Dylan Shepherd trying to thread the needle there. He's tucked back in under the 71. We've got a slower car up the front there. I think that's Jake Maloney held up high there, and I think he might have tagged the wall, lost a bit of momentum, and watch out for the 14. That's James Foster. They nearly traded paints, but they're definitely slowly making his way through as they go almost 4 wide down the back straight here.
Yeah, you picked it in one, Bernie. Jake Maloney kissed the wall a bit, as did was that Dylan Shepherd ahead of him there. That really checks their runs if it doesn't damage their cars. Both of them now trying to get back up to speed, get back on pace after losing a bunch of positions.
Yeah, and we're looking at the gearbox cam here of Dylan, and you can just see, let's have a look from the roll bar. Who's he got on the inside? And Roger Clark there. He's got Raymond just ahead of him, sort of boxed in. Now he's going to try and work this high line.
Yeah, he's going to try and sit in there behind Roger Clark, see if he can't get some speed back up. There's a gap starting to form between the top 6 there, Bernie, and the rest. It's sitting at about, just over a second now. So these guys really in the second pack are going to have to get a wriggle on they want to catch up, but they're going too wide again, Bertie, there as they head through the exit of turn 2 now, up the back straight, too wide, but the guys up front really look to make a good fist of it, Bertie.
Oh, there's contact there between the 14 and I'm just trying to get the other number at the moment. He's going high, 66, he's checked up, the 83's checked up behind him, good driving there, and they continue on here. 31 laps remaining here tonight, folks, at Atlanta Motor Raceway. Again, hop it into the fence up high, holding it up there, keeping it out of harm's way, and all the guys stream past. But at the moment,
he's gone now, Bernie. He's managed to get into the infield. No damage to other drivers, but yeah, he was kissing that outside wall, Bernie, and it's brought him unstuck again. A number of cars went past him before he spewed down into the infield, Bernie, but we know he hasn't got a fast repair, so it'll be the tail of the field for him tonight by the looks.
Yeah, and we're just having a quick look at the West End Mazda replay here. Again, into the wall, exactly where he's done it before. It just looks like that car pushes so much it just does not want to turn in. But we can see there, he hit the wall again, got it unsettled, kept it off. Oh no, he got the inside wall, but he didn't take anyone with him.
No, that's right. Now, up the front though, Bernie, now we've got a pack of three forming now with just a 0.9 second gap. You've got Jason Martin, our pole sitter, if I recall correctly. He's out in front now with Jake Blackhall and Darren McKenzie sitting tucked in behind them, although Darren now is about half a second behind. Looks like Jason and Jake might be looking to get away here, Bernie. Jeff Rayleigh sitting in fourth with Daniel right on his tail there, Bernie. They look to have almost dropped off that lead three at this stage, Bernie.
Yeah, we're in the gyro cam here with Daniel. You can just see him now tucked up under there. He's having a look on the high line. We'll see if he can make that work. No, he doesn't. Jeff just shows him the back door there.
Yeah, the guys are running great lines here, going right up towards the wall down the straights, letting the car run as smoothly as possible. See Daniel now taking full advantage of that draft up the back straight, Bernie, as they head into turn 3 now. Tucks in behind again, really looking to manufacture some sort of opportunity to get past Jeff if he can, Bernie, as they head across the line at the end of lap 39.
Yeah, and these boys, they're peaking out in tow here with Daniel, 296 kilometres an hour.
Yeah, it's crazy speed. We were saying before, Bernie, just a tick under 300. Not a lot of time to react, of course, but up front you've got Jake Blackhall now sitting in the tow of Jason Martin. Again, they're doing upwards of 280, 290 kph as they head on the entry of these corners now, closing out lap 40 now. It really looks like Jason, our pole sitter, is really making a strong fist of this long, probably the longest green flag run we've had so far, Ben.
Yeah, touch wood. I hope you're touching that wood. But yeah, we're with Daniel now, and he's just up behind Jeff. You can hear him lifting, wondering where he's going to make this move. Having a look on the inside now, is this going to work for him?
Yeah, it looked like Jeff really just scraped the wall there. He might have been caught out by Daniel making the move there, although he comes back at him now, tucks in behind him again on the tail end of lap 41 as they cross the line now. Jeff relegated to P5, pokes his nose out underneath into turn 1, Bernie, but decides to sit back behind. This is all the while bringing Phil Otto back into it. He's just over half a second with James Foster on his tail as well, Bernie, in the DeWalt livery there in P7. These guys really starting to get strung out now, Bernie, with just a couple of battles up the front there to keep us entertained. Well, hit paint rubbing behind again, Bernie. Now there seems to be straight cars out there at this stage.
Yeah, and further back in the pack here we can see Roger Clark. He's defending from Daniel Stevens in the 66, Edward Foster in the RRTV entrance. Glad to see his panel beated that out. Oh, well, he's just disappeared and puts... Oh, no, he's in the wall, is he? No,
he looks to be having network issues there, Bernie. He's just hopping around like a happy frog at this stage. But no, he's tucked in behind Daniel there. In the 53 RRTV livery there, Bernie, as they come up on a slower car now. I'm not sure if that car's lapped there in the DeWalt livery. Is it? Yeah, James Foster. He's dropped off Phil Otto there, Bernie, and I'm not sure if he made a mistake. Oh, it's very, very close there. He looks to be having a bit of trouble on that line. Oh, yeah, he's turned around there. Who's that? That's Roger. Daniel Stevens there.
Roger and Daniel Stevens got involved there, and we'll jump back. Daniel's parked right across the road there. Fortunately, everyone checked up. But yeah, that was Roger Clark getting involved there. Let's have a look at the West End Mazda replay and find out exactly what happened there.
Yeah, I don't know what happened to James Foster to get him so far off pace at this stage, Bernie, but he's just coming back. He's just sort of kicked up off the and gone a bit high, and that's caught Roger Clark off off guard there, Bernie. You see James sort of coming out of the low line into the middle line there, catching Roger Clark off guard. That's put him up a bit and slowed them both down. Then Daniel Stevens Rogers just as a result, he's caught the outside wall. That's turned the car enough to put it into Daniel Stevens, and then that Edward Foster. Oh, he's managed to scrape through there, Bertie. No further damage to the double RTV car, but certainly Roger and Daniel Stevens have copped the worst of that at that stage, Bernie.
Yeah, I was watching Edward there, and as we can see them all coming into the pits now, I'll tell you what, Edward, he missed that carnage by a hair's breadth, if that makes sense.
He really did, Bertie. I was watching a slow-mo of that, and I was waiting for it to cop a nudge, but as the cars came down, he's just scraped through. # never lift is the phrase that goes with that, Bertie.
I'd probably have hashtag that was close, but oh dear.
That's right, it was very close, wasn't it?
So I'll have a look at this and just keep an eye on him as we're trying to. Anyway, tell you what, Edward's having a lot of internet connection here. Hopefully it'll hold out for us. Just see how close he got to being involved in this incident.
It was remarkable, wasn't it? The two cars came down and just managed to scrape through. I thought the rear of his car was in real danger there, Bernie, but he's got through by a whisker.
Yeah, he certainly did, and of course they've come in and pitted since then. So Edwards up into 10th now, 2 from where he started tonight, and we'll see how he goes. But of course Norman Clark, he's looking the goods at the moment, isn't he? And he must be Roger's brother because they're in the same livery. So, actually, Norman I think is Roger's father, not his brother, because I know Roger and his dad both love their NASCARs and they both race in this series, so that's exactly who that would be.
Oh, it's fantastic to have such a great family connection there, Bernie. I suggest Norman may not have pitted in that last run. I don't remember him being sitting up front. I certainly remember Jason Martin behind him was right up there. So he may have been. It might have just escaped my memory. But he's certainly up 10 positions from where he started tonight, Bernie. So pitted or not, he's setting himself up for a great closing stint there. Our longest green flag run, as we said, we're on under safety car at the moment, but we're on lap 47, Bernie, so just the 18 or so to go, and with any sort of luck we might get 18 laps under green to really let the guys stretch their legs.
Yeah, well, you never know. It's going pretty quick though, isn't it? It's 9:20pm Australian Eastern Standard Time here. We've been racing now for about 40 minutes, believe it or not.
Yeah, I know. It sort of goes quick when the laps are sort of half a minute each, Bernie. So it's all action stations all the time, Bernie. You got to know there's a lot of cars out there. It's hard to know where to look.
Certainly is. There's a great crowd out here, though, isn't there, at Atlanta Motor Speedway? Absolutely packed in the stands. I think I saw someone doing a barbie on the inside, and it wasn't one of the pit crew, unlike the V8 supercar boys. So it looks like they're all behaving themselves.
No, they're all doing well, Bernie. Quite a happy crowd by the looks. But why wouldn't they be? There's been plenty of action, Bernie. Lots of good racing up front and plenty of incidents to keep the folks interested at the same time.
Certainly is. Your top 10 at the moment. Norman Clark's going to lead them off. Jason Martin, he's been up there all night. We know he's fast. He had provisional pole. I'm tipping him for the win here tonight. Jake Blackhall is in third, followed by Darren McKenzie fourth. Jeff Rayleigh, well, he's just dropped down to sixth, and Daniel's moved up, so they're getting ready to restart. Phil Otto seventh, Dave Douglas eighth, James Foster ninth, Edward Foster, he will start in 10th.
Yeah, well, lights are out on the safety car, Bernie, so we'll be going racing this lap as they come around into turn 3 now. The guys will be getting nervous once again. Just what have we got, 17 laps as we said to go, Bernie, so the guys will be getting very nervous, looking to get a long green stretch to the close of this race, Bernie.
Yeah, and the top 19 are on the lead lap. The cars that are down a lap, Matthew Raymond, Steve Hoppert, Wayne, Harrison Watt and Darren O'Brien. Retirements tonight, Darren Bond. Jason Reese didn't start, but here we go again. Norman's got a good start here. We've got Jason on the outside as the momentum now starts to build. 97 is Jake Blackhall. And then, of course, we've got Darren McKenzie.
Yeah, Jeff Rayleigh sitting at P5 there, Bernie. Norman Clark did really well to hold off the hard charging Jason Martin now, who's tucked right in behind him there, Bernie, who was that? He's got out of it there. Norman Clark got out of it, unfortunately, and that's held up our pole sitter there, Jason Martin. Now has dropped back to 5th. They lost all their momentum there. These really are all about momentum, aren't they, Bernie? A little bit of upset, and you lose so many positions there. Jason Martin, he's been turned in front there, Bernie. Oh, that's Norman Clark around, and he's hit our pole sitter. Oh, hit them hard too. There's a lot of action there, Bernie.
Certainly is. We can see all the carnage there as a 444 nearly hits another one, but that looks like an engine for Norman Clark. Let's hope he has a fast repair, but let's jump back and see the 53 was also involved there. That's Edward Foster. Okay. But Norman Clark's engine's toast, so that might spell the end of his night tonight, unfortunately.
Yeah, it all looked to start with that loss of momentum that Norman Clark had. It also cost, of course, Jason Martin at the time, Bernie. But then what happened was, as they're trying to shuffle their way back to get in that long train of cars, he's come down in the middle of the corner there. He's trying to find his way to duck in behind Jeff Rayleigh, and as he's done so, you've got Daniel on the inside there, car number 13. He's just held his line, and I should say Norman's come down, and of course as a result, Daniel's he's got in the rear quarter panel of that on the left hand side, and that's just turned Norman around right into the path of our pole sitter Jason Martin, who was odds-on favourite in my book to take this race out. He's had nowhere to go. He's got straight into the brakes, but at that sort of speed, he had nowhere to go. And then he's been hit again by a trailing car in the 444 Craig Lawless there, Bernie. And I would suggest that Jason Martin hasn't used his fast repair, but he'll have his work cut out. We know he's got the pace, but he'll have his work cut out for him getting to the front of this field, Bernie.
Yeah, and we can see now riding on board with the number 4 there, and I don't know if it's a tyre rubbing. I think that's what it is. It doesn't sound like an engine, or else he wouldn't be running. So he's got a lot of panel damage there to fix, and right behind him is Edward Foster, who also spun. But yeah, the 21 got into the 444, and that was Craig Lawless, as you said. Craig's now in the pits getting that car serviced. What about Norman? Norman's out there, so he must have had a fast repair.
Yeah, he must have done. Jason Martin's also out there. Looks like his car might have been fixed up, Bernie, so he looks to have had a fast repair still to keep his Fox Racing Shocks car going there, the Silverado there, Bertie. It's a nice purple livery there. I know my daughters would like that, that's for sure. Let the purple car win, Daddy. That's what they'd be saying about it now. Yeah.
Well, I picked the purple car to win just before the restart, didn't I? I said, that's the guy that's going to win tonight. He's now down in 14th and going to have to work his way up in 14 laps. I don't think it's going to happen. But then again, I'll pick someone else and they'll go and crash as well.
Well, it looks like he's getting a bit of a wave around too, Bernie. He's moving up now. No, is he P14 still? Down 13 positions, of course, our pole sitter there in Jason Martin, but lights are still on the safety car, so they'll head around for another lap, a lap and a half at this stage, Bernie. Just the 12 and a half remaining, I think it is now, Bernie. It should be probably 11 laps under green. We'll see if the guys can last that long and see what Jason can do from there, Bernie.
Yeah, definitely, and I'm going to give a bit of a plug to the man behind the RRTV paint scheme, and that is Scott Stevens from Dripping Paint Graphics has been the man behind this paint job. So if you're looking to get a great paint scheme, folks, go and look up Scott Stevens, Dripping Paint Graphics. Fantastic guy. He takes his painting very seriously, and he does an awesome job.
Well, mate, I can tell you, Bernie, I took a bit of an opportunity in week 13 to have a crack at a top split podcast livery, and it's not an easy thing to do. I have the utmost respect for those who do it and do it well. So, yeah, certainly look him up.
Yeah, I've learned the smart way now. I used to try to do my own paint schemes, but now I'd much rather get an expert do it. They turn out a lot better in my opinion, but yeah.
Certainly they'll turn out better than my one, I can tell you. But the lights on the safety car are off now, Bernie. So we should get hopefully an 11-lap run of green to the finish, Bernie. Plenty of guys again getting very nervous in their seats now. Our top 5, Jake Blackhall, Darren McKenzie, Jeff Rayleigh, Daniel, and then Dave Douglas in 5th. Jake Maloney up to 6th. So they'll be our front 3 2x2 rows as we get underway again, Bernie.
Yeah, so Jake Blackwell will have control of the field. We'll see if he backs it up and goes 13 laps. I'm out of sarsaparilla, so it's going to get serious from here on in, Alex.
It will do. Well, I think Jake was on the front last start, and he certainly did hold the field, Bernie. It certainly gave him an advantage and a good run, and actually spread the field quite a bit after it checked up. They're coming around turn 4 now, Bernie. They're all looking to close up now. This front pack, look at it, getting really, really tight as the safety car goes to pull in now. Let's see what Jake does.
Let's see if he's going to try, and there he goes. He's off. Good start there. We're riding with Jeff Rayleigh here as he tucks in behind him. How's it going behind him? Looking good. So a nice clean start here. As we can see now, Jeff Rayleigh working on the back of Darren McKenzie. Jake Blackhall leading the way.
Yeah, I've just got my eyes on Jason Martin. He's already up to P12, Bernie. He won't want to waste any time with these guys that we know he's fast, but can he work his way through traffic? That's the question, Bernie. He's already looking to get past the car in front there of, who's that, Daniel Stevens there around the outside line. He's sitting in the toe of Robbie Morris now, Bernie, hoping that these front runners don't get too far away.
Yeah, and we're just riding there with Phil Otto. We got pushed up a little bit there, caught up on the high line, as is, who's that? Is it Douglas also on the high line now? And one thing I found interesting here, the guys were hoping that this update would allow them to do multi-line racing, because apparently there was a bug, they were telling me, where they could only really run one line. And they're hoping that's been fixed now. As we can see now, Dave Douglas looking on the outside now of Daniel, and of course Daniel's still working on the back of Jake Maloney.
Yeah, and again, still got my eye back here on Jason Martin. He's now up to P10. Bertie made 3 already, and he's closing in on James Foster in P9. Really got pace to burn here, Bernie. So I'll be interested to see how he goes in the remaining just over 8 laps now, Bernie. But up front, Jake Blackwell made the most of that start that he made. So Darren McKenzie now 3/10, nearly 4/10 behind him, still certainly within draft range, although he's dropping a bit down now. Seems to be that Jake Blackwell car, number 97, is really tracking well in the corners, and that's where he's making his distance, Bernie.
Yeah, we're just having a quick look back here. Well, it's a long look at the moment. Dave Douglas with Daniel on the outside here. Dylan Shepherd, he's trying to work the inside line here. Now he gets a bit of a run. We'll see what he can do. He's actually boxed in quite a bit, but I think he's waiting for Dave to make a move, which he does now. Dylan on the inside of Daniel. Can Dylan make this work?
Oh, he's working hard to, and right behind him now, Jason Martin up into P8, goes around the outside of car 1, Phil Otto, tucks in behind Daniel now in P6, running around the outside of Dylan Shepherd. He's going to try and follow Daniel on the way through. Now Daniel now moving over to the centre of the track, not really wanting to give away his draft easily, Bernie. And the race is certainly heating up with just the 5.5 laps remaining.
Yeah, you can really see now how hard this NASCAR is and what talent you need. Look how close these guys are running at 296 kilometres an hour. And if we were looking at Daniel from behind, he had car high, car low, and there wasn't a lot of gap between them, as now he's got a good run on Dave Douglas.
Yeah, Jason Martin now side by side with, who's that? Lost him now, sorry Bertie, side by side. He's just gone past Daniel actually. He's looking to tuck him behind Jason Martin now in P6. cuts over to the inside of the track, going 2 by 2 as they head into turn 3 now, Bernie. 4, just the balance of 5 laps remaining. As they come in to close out, there'll be 4 laps remaining this time. Jason Martin come from 13. He's up to P5 now. Be interesting to see with 4 laps remaining if he can chase down Jake Maloney, who's about a second in front of him there.
Yeah, well, what he needs here is he needs it to stay green for these 4 laps, because if we go under yellow, it's game over, because we'll be under yellow at the checkered here. But at the moment, we have Jake Blackhall leading by 0.7 of a second over Darren McKenzie in second. Then we have right behind him Jeff Rayleigh there having a good run in third. Jake Maloney, he is about 1 second behind Jeff in fourth. Then Jason Martin on the move, trying to get into the top 4.
Yeah, well, he's made up 2/10 on Jake in P4 there, that last lap, Bernie. 2.5 laps remaining now. The gap's closing very rapidly. Actually, he's grabbed another 10th in that half a lap, Bernie. Another 10th now. I wonder if Jake's tyres are fading now, Bernie. Maybe he didn't time his pit stop that well. Jason, of course, having had that incident with just 2 laps remaining now, Bernie, he'll be on fresh rubber in a straight car, chasing down Jake. Meanwhile, up the front, Jake Blackhall, he's made a great fist of that restart, Bernie. Jeff Rayleigh now putting pressure on Darren McKenzie. Oh, Darren making him go around the outside, Bernie, as they come up now to cross the line with just the white flag, the single lap remaining. How's it going to finish now, Bernie?
Well, it looks like it's all Jake Blackhall at the moment. We did have a scare further back with Daniel in the 13 scraping the wall, but he managed to keep it out of trouble. But down to the last lap now, we've got Jake Blackhall. He is leading this race, folks. 1.1 seconds is the gap, and it looks like he's going to take out round 1 here of the ANZCAR Thursday Night Thunder. And, of course, we've got Darren and Jeff Rayleigh still fighting over that second position.
Yeah, Jan got out of the gas there on the approach to turn 3 and 4 there, Bernie. Jake Blackhall taking it out there with a hard-charging Darren McKenzie and Jeff Rayleigh. Jason Martin made it all the way up to P4, Bernie. What a last set of laps that was for him. All the way down in P13, charged his way. We wondered how he'd go through the traffic, but he got all the way up to P4 as he spins out in celebration almost.
Yeah, I think they're all trying to do drifting in NASCARs, but tell you what a race. That was awesome fun.
Yeah, Jason Martin once again letting the rear of this truck get out there in celebration. I've got to tell you, that was probably a very impressive trial car number 10 just behind him. Who's that? Dave Douglas doing the same thing. Apparently the rear of these cars is where the action is, Bertie. But what a great race that was. Plenty of action. I wasn't sure what to expect with regards to cautions. There was certainly a great number of them as the podium sitters now. Oh, Jake Blackhall putting on a display. He's not going to return those tyres in good nick, is he? Neither's Darren or Jeff. They're all the podium sitters, all putting on a fine display of circle work there, Bernie, and leaving a trail of black smoke behind them.
Yeah, exactly. They're enjoying their you can, what do you call it? Reward.
Their results.
Their results. I got lost.
Yeah, that's all right. Jake doing a fantastic bit of circle work there, Bertie. Barely see the car for all the smoke. Well done to the podium sitters. Great effort.
Certainly was an awesome effort. Hopefully we'll get some guys, I should say, sounding like a NASCAR guy now. The good old boys might come up and have a bit of a yarn, eh?
Yeah,
oh, that's Canadian.
Well, no, it'll be interesting to see who we got there. Oh, gee, there's a fair few there waiting to have a chat, Bernie.
Yeah, there certainly are. So let's start. Where should we start? Because we've got quite a lot here, haven't we? Why don't we
grab Jake, our winner?
Yeah, we'll bring Jake up. Good choice. Did you want to have a chat with him?
Yeah, sure, mate.
I'll throw you into the middle. You're the NASCAR man.
Oh, sits weird. Yeah, please go ahead. You'll have to bring him out. There we go. G'day, Jake. Oh no, he hasn't got. You'll have to add him so he can speak there, Bertie. There we go. G'day, Jake. Alex McKellar here in the RRTV commentary booth, mate. What a race! A lot of action there out on track. How did you find the running tonight?
Yeah, a lot of action. Thanks, guys. It was pretty awesome out there tonight. First time back in the truck after a long hiatus from driving the truck. It was good to get back out there. Hard racing, but it was all fair. It was nice and clean.
Yeah, it looks like in that last restart, mate. Yeah, I think you were on then for the last two, if not, but certainly the last one. Held the pack there until you were ready to go and made a fantastic fist of that restart, mate. That really looked like where you got your break started and were able to continue on from there.
Yeah, I sort of knew. I did a lot of runs in practice, just focusing on the long run pace. Obviously, everyone's going to be this sort of similar on short run, especially with the same setup. So trying to just get that longevity out of the tyre was all I was focusing on, and managed to get that restart exactly how I wanted. Then just pulled away from there, but it still had to push hard in the final stages. It wasn't easy. Those boys were still there fighting for second and third, and it looked like they had a good battle there as well.
Yeah, you're 100% spot on there, mate. Darren McKenzie and Jeff Rayleigh were really going hard at it behind you. I'm sure that contributed to a little bit of the gap, but from what I saw as well, you were doing the work in the corners, and that seemed to be ever slightly increasing your gap there, mate. Was that how you found it as well? The corner work was really where you got away from them tonight?
Yeah, corner work was sort of what I've been focusing on, especially now since I've got a new upgraded PC. I can finally actually figure out where I want to put the truck, so I'm able to run different lines, and just focusing on running the different lines actually really helped the right rear a lot, especially in the later stages, because obviously it didn't pit under that last safety car, but we did have that 1 or 2 lap run on them, so it took that nice green patch off the tyre, but able to get just enough in the saving it that I could manage the tyre in that later stint. But yeah, it was good. First time to get another ERT car in victory lane.
Beautiful work, mate. Well, I'll hand you over to Bernie to see what he's got to say.
Yeah, fantastic driving, Jay, because I saw you out there earlier tonight and I thought, he might be out of his element tonight, but it looks like you've been doing a bit of this on the side, have you?
Yeah, well, originally I was mainly oval based. I never drove road cars until I got A-class oval license. I did all the trucks and B cars and obviously cup cars, and then decided I may jump into what an Aussie should be jumping in, and that's a road car. So I actually originally come from the oval side, so it's good to actually come back to where I originated my sim racing career from.
Yeah, it's fantastic, and I tell you what, we were watching the action, and we were saying how intense it must be to drive in the pack like that. What's the comparison of this compared to, if you're in the road type racing?
It's something similar, but it's got that different element to it. Obviously, you're going 200 something mile an hour most of the time here side by side with someone, whereas in a road race, you're nose to tail, maybe a little bit of bump, push and shove, and trying to outbrake another person. So it's same sort of element of sort of that pressure and intensity, but it's just that little bit of a different way that it feels, especially when you're side by side with someone through a corner. You're hoping they're going to give you enough room on the exit when your truck starts to wash out. So it's all just a feel, but both same intensity level. There's no difference between either of them.
Okay. Yeah, it looked like from our point of view, I was holding my breath a lot when we were looking at the bumper cam and seeing guys thread 3 wide. At one point they tried 4 wide down the straight but settled to 3, which was probably a relief on my heart. But yeah, it was awesome racing, very exciting.
Yeah, it's very exciting for everyone. Hopefully this can lead to a good season throughout for ANZCAR. It looks like it's got off to the right foot, so I can't wait for the rest of the year.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, Jake, let's hear from all your sponsors. Well, you can tell us who they are. Don't have time to hear from each one of them.
Yeah, we'll jump through this one. So massive shout out, obviously, to Evolution Racing Team. They've been able to help me get here, obviously, in the first place. Logitech G, Jobble Timing, GTI, and obviously my personal sponsor, Astra Racing, for all their help that they've been able to bring me this year.
Fantastic. Well, congratulations on taking round 1 win here, and awesome racing. I enjoyed that as much as you probably enjoyed winning it. So congratulations. Hopefully we'll see you back here next Thursday night.
Thank you, guys. Definitely will be. Good job tonight as well, as always.
So, folks, that was our winner, Jake Blackhall from ERT, and we'll put him back in the green room. And let's have a word with Jason Martin. He came in 4th, and he was my favourite until he binned it.
Absolutely, Bertie. G'day. Oh, no, we got him sorted there.
I've got him sorted, yep.
Beautiful. G'day, Jason. Alex McKellar here in the RTV commentary booth, mate. Well, that final stint after the incident and forced you to pit there, mate, that was I asked the question, how would you go charging through the traffic, but what a display, mate. How was that final run? No? You there?
He's
Yeah, mate, can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, got you now, mate. How was that final run out there, carving your way through the traffic?
Oh, mate, that was good fun.
Yeah, you were awesome out there, Jason. We're watching you, and I actually picked you for the win tonight, but as soon as I picked you, you had some bad luck there and dropped all the way back. And then I said your race was done, but then all of a sudden you stormed your way through the field all the way back up to 4th. That was an awesome comeback drive, mate.
Yeah, thanks, mate. Bit of a shame that I got wrecked, but I had a blast on that restart.
Yeah, literally. But yeah, it looks like the wrecking seems to be part and parcel of this game. Would I be right in saying that?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. Sorry, Alex, I butted in. I should hand back to you, shouldn't I?
No, you're right, mate. Listen, Jason, that was a fantastic drive, mate. You were both our picks to win tonight. Only guy to duck into the 29s during qualification, so fantastic effort there, mate. Great drive in that final stint. Congratulations on your P4 tonight. What could have been, but certainly I'm sure you'll hope for a better result next time, perhaps a podium or even a win, eh?
Yeah, thanks, guys, for the broadcast, and hopefully it was a good show for the viewers.
Yeah, it certainly was, mate. Is there? Have you got any sponsors or anyone you'd like to give a shout out to before we let you go?
No, I don't have any sponsors or anything, so just thanks to you guys.
Brilliant. Thanks very much, Jason, and all the best for the remaining rounds of the season.
Cheers, guys.
So, folks, that was Jason Martin. And I tell you what, Alex, what a recovery drive that was. I think he came from 14th up to 4th, and in as many laps. He had 14 laps to do it in, didn't he?
Yeah, very, very impressive, actually. One thing we should note is that for those viewers at home who know or don't know about I rating, it's the skill points attributed based on your results, and generally a fair indication of the quality of the driver involved. Now, Jason was a 5800 oval rated driver, which is an amazing figure in either road or oval. So I'd suggest that he has a lot of quality about him as an oval racer, and that certainly showed through in that final stint, Bernie. So very, very impressed. Oh, sorry, he's probably about a 5700, but still, that's no mean feat. Getting up to 5700 is a real challenge. So congratulations on his race again tonight, Jason. All the best for his future races, Bernie.
Yeah, definitely. And the next person we're going to bring up is Daniel, and you can ask him how he pronounces his last name. He finished in 11th tonight.
Absolutely. I'll take that bullet for the team, mate. Daniel, Alex McKellar here in the RRTV commentary booth, mate. An action-packed race out there for you tonight. Qualified very well, but my first question for you tonight, mate, before we get into that, can you give us a guide on how to pronounce his surname? Bernie and I have been debating it all night. We're not really sure where to go, but if we get your help on that, it'd be great.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, it's a bit of a tough one. The easiest way to say it's basically Greskovic. That sort of cuts a little bit out, but you can sort of roll into like Grzeskovic or Grzeskovic.
Grzeskovic. All right. We'll go with Grzeskovic. All right.
Yeah,
hopefully
that's
excellent. Grzeskovic. All right. I'll get it eventually, mate. Listen, you qualified so well. We were expecting big things, but there was a lot of action out there. Did you get caught up in much of it, or did you manage to avoid most of it?
I thought I did an alright job at trying to avoid most things. I just feel really bad for turning around Norman. I think coming off turn 2, I heard the spotter say outside, so I hope he was hearing inside, and we just sort of touched, and yeah, that was the end of that. And I feel bad though, but I just get my foot in it.
Yeah, look, it's what I was saying before, hashtag never lift, right? But the events of tonight were quite spectacular. Bernie and I have got more of a road background, but we had quite a baptism of fire tonight. There was action aplenty. Although I have to say there was some good green flag running there. How did you find the racing out there tonight?
Yeah, from where I was, it was really good out the front there for a while. Sort of got mixed back in the pack there at the end after I hit the wall. It was just a bit too slow, but at the front of the pack anyway, it was pretty intense and pretty good.
Yeah, the guys looked to be having a great time out there, and there was certainly some great driving on display. But I'll hand you over to Bernie now to see what he's got to ask.
Yeah, Daniel, I'm going to just call you Danny G if I'm allowed. Is that a good nickname for you? Yeah, cool.
It works.
you'll find in the broadcast we just pronounced your first name, and I think we got it right. But no, good racing out there, very exciting racing, and it looked like you're in the thick of it for a lot of it. So yeah, well done. But one question I do have for you, and you should be able to answer this: what's it like running 3 wide in one of these cars?
It's pretty hairy, especially in the middle. I think I did get caught down the backstretch 3 wide in the middle there for a little bit, and the guy on the outside, I don't know if he knew we were 3 wide, so I couldn't do anything. I was thinking about just putting my foot on the brake, but I thought I'd just keep on the throttle and see what happens, and luckily everyone behaved.
Yeah, I think at one point, I think it was your car, we're looking at the gearbox cam. I should call it the rear bumper cam because it's not really the gearbox cam. But yeah, we're looking out of that and we could see 2 cars there, one either side of you, just having a little bit of an overlap and just watching you there thread the needle, or more likely avoiding being run over.
Yeah, it was a bit like that.
Yeah, fantastic, Daniel Grostovich, there you go. I'm hopeless with names. But anyway, Daniel, thanks for coming up. Have you got any sponsors you'd like to give a shout out to?
Yeah, Capital Playing Cards. They're one of my mates' companies for like playing cards, casino cards and stuff. And the other 2 are a big embarrassment. I can't even remember their names. I was meant to write this stuff down.
I hope they're not watching.
No, Advanced PC and Gaming is one of them, and I think CRC Studios painted up my Fago car, which I've been sim racing since 2000, and I've always wanted to see a Fago sponsor on a car, and it was great for them to put that up for me.
Fantastic. So did you just Wikipedia that, or did you remember it?
What's that, the Fago?
Yeah, your sponsors.
Well, with the Fago, I've just been a fan of the soft drink for a long time, so yeah, grape's pretty cool. When I went to America, I tried all the flavours, and grape sort of always stuck out as one of the better ones.
Fantastic. Well, anyway, Daniel, thanks for coming up. It's been awesome talking to you. I'm looking forward to seeing you back next week. We've had an awesome start to the season. I think 25 drivers taking to the field. Hopefully that'll continue to grow.
Yeah, it was great to see. Hope it does too.
All right, see you, mate.
Thank you.
So Danny G, that's what we're calling him now.
Groskovich. I think I'll have to work on it, but I think we might get it now by the end, right?
Danny G. You can do the Groskovich and I'll stick with Danny G. Okay, so he came home 11th and dropped 9, so he had a bit of an interesting night of racing, well, an intense night I would probably say. And the next guy with a little bit of explaining to do is Mr. Edward Foster.
Well, I'll let you go first, eh?
Hi Edward, welcome to the RRTV Combox, mate. I told you when I gave you the car, don't scratch it. So what the heck did you do?
I think I let you down, Bernie, didn't I?
I was telling him how beautiful it looked, and then you decided you wanted to repaint it. I think you had a bit of blue on there, a bit of yellow, and some black and blue. God knows what else you had on there.
Yeah, well, you did tell me that I needed to upload it to Trading Paints, and obviously I misheard you and thought you actually meant you wanted me to trade paint with some people. So.
Good comeback. I'll pay that one. Yeah, well, you know, rubbin's racing, I guess, as they say. But I tell you what, awesome turnout here tonight. 25 cars. You're in the thick of it. You came home 16th. So can you tell the viewers a little bit about what your experience is like being mid-pack, looks like an angry mid-pack, in these cars?
Absolutely horrendous, to be perfectly honest. It's, yeah, I think it was Dale Earnhardt Jr. that said that a bad finish hurts, but a bad finish with a fast race car hurts even more. Despite what was a pretty ordinary qualifying, we actually had pretty good pace. Had good pace on the short runs, probably a bit better than the long runs, but always was faster than the cars around me. But I just could not escape from that mid-pack. And then obviously we had a couple of incidents. I think we was Hoppet perhaps that didn't take tyres or something like that, and was falling back through the pack, and he checked up in front of me sort of more than I was expecting. I got into the back of him a little bit, but it wasn't too bad. But then there were some more cars involved, and everyone just turned into a pinball game from there. And then on the last one, I think Greskowitz got into Norman Clark, and I could see it all sort of unfolding ahead of me and got down onto the apron. But I was just never really able to settle the truck from there. Got a bit of a tank slapper up and went straight into the inside wall like a bit of a goose. So, my fault that last one. And, there are a few curses going on inside, I can tell you.
Yeah, well, we were saying before, when these boys wreck out here, they love to party and everyone's invited.
Yeah, absolutely. It's definitely a group activity, wrecking at Atlanta. Mostly the same for most of the ovals, actually, but that's just the way it is. You race in a pack. There's always the chance that one little thing can happen, and before long you've got a chain reaction. I'm fairly sure there was a lot of other guys involved in it, but I was only really focused on myself at that point.
Yeah, well, you saw one, and I was holding my breath for you because the cars had tangled up high. I think it might have been Norman, tangled up high coming down on you, and you just missed that by probably, God knows, a split of a hair from being nailed in the rear end.
I'll probably leave the obvious innuendo aside there, but
Was there an innuendo? Okay, let's.
But it was one of those things. I was quite pleased with myself for escaping with just about all my paint intact, and the next thing I know, I got a bit too impressed with myself a bit too soon, I think, and didn't remember to actually steer the truck. So there you go.
Fair enough. I'm going to hand you over to Alex McKellar here, and he's about as expert as NASCAR as I am, so you might have to educate us a little bit.
Well, thank you for that glorious introduction there, Bertie. But no, actually, it's a good one because I did actually have a question, hopefully to enlighten myself as a newbie and some of our viewers at home that might be watching for the first time. One of the things that stood out for me, and I sort of posed it as an insight while we're racing, these things fanging down at nearly 300k an hour down the straight, designed really to go straight very fast and not much by way of handling through the corners other than the obvious ones we got here. Something goes on around you. What's it like trying to react and gather things up without cleaning yourself and other cars up, mate? What's that experience like?
Well, the cars they're designed to be fast in a straight line, but they're also designed to turn left, and they're only designed to turn left. So they're not overly handy when you're looking at fast changes of direction, especially if one of those changes of direction is off to the right. So difficult. Basically, you really have to be looking a fair way up the road in front of you all the time to stand any chance at all of missing anything. I mean, as you mentioned, I only just missed the incident with Norman and Daniel. And it's just one of those things that you could see it happening so far away, and I only just missed it. So if it happens to you any closer than that, you're really just riding your luck from there.
Yeah, look, that's a really significant challenge to look at the car just inches in front of you, but then a mile up the track to see what's coming at you potentially as well. So, yeah, it's a really different skill set to what I'm used to, and it's certainly very enlightening. I know I had a bit of a run during the week, and it's certainly got a bit of a taste for it, so maybe doing some more during the season. But thank you for that insight, and thank you for the great racing tonight. Is there anyone you'd like to give a shout-out to before we let you go?
I'm not sure that any of my mates will be watching. I might just give a quick shout out to the other admins, Roger and Daniel, who we've put in just a huge amount of work over the last few weeks to get this sort of all up and running. And of course, there's always the bit of a concern with oval racing, with full course cautions and so on, that you're gonna have one that's full of wrecks, and it's not going to be a great race. But I think tonight most people get their heads screwed on pretty well, and realistically the racing was all we'd hoped it would be when we decided to start this up. So shout out to those guys, because they put in a massive effort to get this all up and running.
Absolutely, and they've been rewarded with a fantastic turnout and what looked to be a great night of racing as well. A good mix of, a bit of incidents in the mid-pack, as you say, but certainly some plenty fine racing up front. So congratulations to you and the rest of the guys that have pulled this together. You should be very pleased with the results, certainly on week one, and certainly hopefully plenty to come.
Yeah, fantastic. It was an awesome race, Edward. Before we let you go, though, do you want to give a shout-out to any of your sponsors or anyone that gave you a really awesome paint job to drive?
Bernie. So I'm not really sure what happened, but no, absolutely, double RTV all the way. Fantastic. Thanks very much for obviously agreeing to show this. When we started out, we didn't really think that we were going to be having a broadcast, especially not in our first season. So obviously, big thanks to you guys for pulling all this together, and I guess showing it to the wider world.
Yeah, fantastic, and hopefully the broadcasting will get better as we find our feet on this style of racing. But I tell you what, Edward, I had a ball calling this tonight. It's a lot of fun. What about you, Alex? What do you think of it?
Yeah, mate, certainly a lot of fun. A bit nerve-wracking too, trying to put on a good show for the people at home, but certainly we kind of let the drivers take care of that for the most part, and a good show they did put on. So looking forward to seeing what the rest of the season brings of what is a fantastic set of action on track.
Yeah, definitely. It's going to be a lot of fun this season, folks. So make sure you tune in every Thursday night for the ANZCAR Thursday Night Thunder, because as we said at the intro, a storm's coming. Well, it was here tonight, that's for sure. But fantastic racing. But Alex, I guess we should go through the final race results, because we're getting a bit ahead of ourselves. And let's have a look for the biggest mover and the biggest shaker here tonight. So Jake Blackhall, he takes out the win. He moved up 4 positions from where he started. Then we had Darren McKenzie up 11 positions to come home second. Jeff Rayleigh, he's finished in third, followed by Jason Martin in fourth. Jake Maloney comes home in 5th, with Dave Douglas finishing in 6th. In 7th tonight was James Foster, then Dylan Shepherd up 7 positions in 8th. Phil Otto comes home in 9th. Rodney Morris, he's the mover at the moment, in 10th, up 14 positions. Denny G, there we go, that's going to stick, I know it is, comes home in 11th and 9 positions down, so he's the biggest shaker at the moment. Roger Clark, he comes home in 12th position. Home in 11th was Daniel Stevens, followed by Darren Lord. Steve Hoppett comes home in 15th, followed by Edward Foster in 16th. And Nick Craddock comes home 17th, with Matthew Raymond finishing in 18th and down 12 positions. Norman Clark comes home in 19th, and then we've got Wayne Harrison Watt finishing in 20th. 21st night, Jared Farrell down 13 positions. Then Craig Lawless in the 444 entry comes home in 22nd. Darren O'Brien, he finishes in 23rd, and then Darren Bond is down 20 positions and coming home in 24th. And then Jason Ress did not make the start, unfortunately. So based on that, the biggest mover was Rodney Morris by the looks of it, Alex, and the biggest shaker looked like it was Darren Bond.
Yeah, you got that right, mate. Darren Bond down 20 positions in 24th, so that's an unfortunate night for him after qualifying very well. Darren McKenzie finishing in second, up 11 places from where he qualified. Fantastic effort from him. Rodney Morris, as you say, the biggest mover in the field, up from 24th to 10th, so fantastic drive from him. Personally, my drive of the night, though, was probably, and we called his name a lot tonight, Jason Martin. That drive in the last stint, going up from 14th, I think it was, up to 4th or thereabouts, certainly finished 4th, really displayed a fantastic turn of pace and skill to carve through that field, Bernie. But congratulations also to our podium for the first ever event like this, Bernie, Jake Blackhall, Darren McKenzie and Jeff Rayleigh. Congratulations to them, and congratulations too to the organisers for putting on such a great display.
Yeah, that's Roger Clark, Edward Foster and Danny G. Daniel Gruskovich. Did I get it right? That's his full name.
Yeah, I think you might have got it right there, but we'll work on that through the season anyway.
We certainly will. Well, Alex, mate, thanks for joining me tonight for our first ever broadcast of NASCAR racing here on RRTV. Hopefully you had a lot of fun calling it.
Certainly did. First night of Thursday Night Thunder. Look forward to many more.
Yeah, it's awesome. And hopefully our viewers out there, wherever you're watching us in the world, whether you joined us on our YouTube channel or you're watching us through iRacing Live, thank you very much for tuning in for our debut broadcast of this series. Hopefully you've enjoyed it, and hopefully you'll come back and have some more great NASCAR action here on Thursday night for the Thursday Night Thunder. So looking at our week ahead, tomorrow night we've got no Australian Online Supercar Championship. They've got a rest week. But Saturday night we have our second last round of the SRA Asia Pacific GTE Series, and I tell you what, those boys, they're racing for a Caterham drive day, and it's getting down to the serious end of the business there, Alex.
Yeah, I'll tell you what a fantastic prize that would be. Plenty of the guys out there getting excited at their chances, no doubt. But yeah, I know what any of them would give to have a run in that car, but certainly a great series and a great car to drive and a great prize to go with it. So plenty to look forward to there.
Yeah, definitely is. And then, of course, we've got quite a bit of a rest after that because there's no Monday Night Lights because of week 13. And you're calling the last of the Australasian Super Skips. So I get to put my feet up there. And, yeah, but we'll be back the following Friday with more AOSC action.
Yeah, absolutely, Bernie. Last round of the Super Skips this weekend, and then another break for Monday Night Lights coming back bigger and better for Season 10, Bernie.
Yeah, definitely. And a big shout out to Sam Katakazinos. Would you believe, Alex, he told me he's using my voice in his spotter pack. I don't know why he'd go and do that, but anyway, hopefully he thinks it's all right.
Great innovation there, the local Aussie spotter pack, Birdie, and fantastic to see your dulcet tones gracing many a screen for the years to come.
Yeah, just don't use the cuss pack. It took a lot, I tell you what. But yeah, if you haven't heard of that, folks, Nick Hausler put that together. You got myself in there, Reece Gardner. I think they got Sandman Clark in there. Not sure if Jay's done one, but you got quite a few different characters or voices to choose from. So go and check that out. I think it's on the iRacing forums there somewhere.
Yeah, absolutely, Bernie. I think I might have to download that to just hear blue language coming from you, Bernie. I can't picture it, so I might have to experience it firsthand.
Yeah, okay, if you want to laugh. But anyway, folks, that brings us to the end of this broadcast, and I hope you've enjoyed it as much as we've enjoyed bringing it to you. But if you've got nothing to do Saturday night, come back and check out the SRA Sim Racers Asia GTE series. It's basically a lot of the Australian, New Zealand drivers. We've got drivers in from China, all over Asia, racing in there, and it's definitely action packed. I'll have Daniel Leake join me, but that's enough from me. Alex, is there anything you want to tell the viewers before we sign off?
No, just thanks for the opportunity. Thanks for the great racing. Looking forward to many more here on Double TV.
Yep.
Double RTV, sorry.
Yep. So thanks for joining us, folks. As Alex always says, ciao for now.